The Bucks, they lost their playoff opener, but the bigger concern is the health of Giannis Antetokounmpo. He took a hard foul in the first quarter. He tried to remain in the game, but he would miss the entire second half. He played a total of 11 minutes in the loss to Miami. And remember, Game 2 is Wednesday, also in Milwaukee. So our senior insider, Adrian Wojnarowski, is back with us now. Woj, within the Milwaukee Bucks, what exactly is the level of concern here about Giannis's injury?
Well, certainly there's concern because he had to leave the game yesterday. But the good news, there's no structural damage, X-rays, MRI. He's sore. And that's going to be the issue here for the next couple of days. But I think within the Bucks around Giannis Antetokounmpo, they're hopeful that he'll be back for Game 2 on Wednesday. Getting that extra day between games is certainly helpful. And Malika, there's no player in the league probably with a higher threshold of pain to play. I mean, there are regular season games he doesn't want to sit out with injuries, never mind the postseason, especially down 0-1 to Miami and needing to even things up before they go back to South Florida.
Yeah, not only his pain tolerance, but his will, his want to play. Perhaps no one more than Giannis Antetokounmpo. Woj, thank you so very much. Another major injury in the Heat Bucks series here. Tyler Hero, he appeared to injure his hand while he was diving for a loose ball. This was in the first quarter. He didn't return for the second half, and he was actually diagnosed with a broken right hand. You can see him shaking that off a little bit there. This will sideline him for the rest of the playoffs and into the offseason. Now, the Heat, they have struggled a little bit here. You can see on your screen to find offense this season. So this is a major blow. Tyler Hero, he ranked third in scoring and assists and led the team in three-point shooting. He was the only Heat player with a 40-point game this season. But enough with the downers, enough with the sad news. Let's focus on the bright spots. And a major bright spot, Richard, was Jimmy Butler, or should I say Himmy Butler? Are we still doing that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're still doing it. We're not. No, we're doing it as long as he keeps doing that, Zach. That's what's going on. Right now, look, this is the thing I like about Jimmy, right? He's going to talk that talk. He's going to talk it before. He's going to talk it after. He's going to talk it in wins. He's going to talk it in losses. That's who he is. You want to see somebody that's going to talk trash when it's 0-0, when they're up and down, and Jimmy was impressive. The thing that I liked about this, it was their shooting from three. They're not particularly a great three-point shooting team, but to shoot 60% from three, that opened up the floor to allow Jimmy to do what Jimmy was doing.
And it continued into the second half. And over Brook Lopez, Chiney, that is not exactly easy. He is up there in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. And then against Drew Holiday, just coming in waves.
And that's why I say sometimes catching your rhythm, going through the play-in, you feel ready for the playoffs. And now look at this. I mean, the give and go, this is just chemistry, knowing that he has the advantage and the quick first step. And nice braid pattern, by the way. I'm stealing that, Jimmy.
I think that
Himmy.
That was fresh for the playoffs. Splits the defenders all the way to the cup. Miami gets the win 130-117. So Butler, he was dominant in the paint against the Bucks, had 28 points, tying a Heat playoff record. He ties Dwayne Wade for the distinction of who had the 28 in the paint against another Central Division opponent, the Pistons, in the East Finals. So then, what do we say on this show, Richard?
If you stay petty, you ain't got to get petty.
So then he posted
Hunting
this.
Season.
It's
hunting season.
A little bit of deer in the headlights. Is that what we're going to go with here? So Jimmy was Himmy Butler, Himmy buckets, however you want to put it. Milwaukee on the other side, though, they've just been rolling through the regular season. They have been for the last couple of years. This is their time of year. They're almost in that conversation with the Warriors where it's like, okay, it all kind of starts in the playoffs. Do you have any concerns here, Zach, about them after that performance?
I do not. If Giannis is healthy, I do not. The Bucks having a bad game one is like a Mike Budenholzer tradition at this point. They always have a bad game one in the playoffs, and then they're fine. Can I just say something about the Heat?
Yes, please.
I give up figuring this team out. In the third quarter against Chicago the other day, I was like, are they ever going to score a basket again? They couldn't do anything, and they just put up 130 against the Bucks in Game 1. Can they do anything without Tyler Hero? That was one of their best offenses in Game 1, was running him off screens, knowing Brook Lopez was dropping back. I don't know. Maybe they'll score 175. I have no idea.
Things that I like, since I'll switch over to the Bucks. One, Chris Middleton having a big game because he'll need that confidence, especially if Giannis is out for a game or two. However that shakes out. I like that 4 out of their 5 starting 5 had double figures, and most importantly, off the bench, Bobby Porter's 21. So you insert Giannis onto the Antetokounmpo, you feel like they have a chance. But even without him, I mean, they do have confidence. And again, this Heat team, Unpredictable, very unpredictable, but nonetheless, that rhythm of the play-in helped them in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is the thing. The Bucks go 11 for 45 from three. Now, Giannis is out for is only played 11 minutes. The quality of their shots will improve if Giannis is able to be on the floor. So again, we're not able to see that. We're not sure his health. But him being on the floor, the driving, the collapsing defense, it will improve the quality of their shots. They just got to make them. At the end of the day, that's not going to get it done. But the Bucks, the Miami Heat, they go 15 for 25 for three, 60%, 60%
Bam
from
flirts
the
with a
field.
triple-double.
They play outstanding. So I'm not worried about them. No Tyler Hero. That's huge.
Right. Because who are you looking at to make up for that? Is it Duncan Robinson, potentially offensively, but defensively, he has been a liability this season?
Yeah, I mean, they started him, I think, in the second half the other day. It's going to be a little bit of him, Max Strus, and they're going to need the Kyle Lowry, who almost bailed them out against Atlanta in the play-in game.
It's what Richard started the show with. It's the others. It's the Kevin
others.
Love performances. It's the others stepping up. I think it's a consensus here. None of us are really worried about the Milwaukee Bucks. And for me, it's because of what you said. Mike Budenholzer, this is like a tradition. He does this every single time. The Bucks, they are 5-7
there it is.
in the 12-game ones the team has had. They've lost the last. You were watching these playoffs this weekend. What was your biggest takeaway, sir?
It was the others. We focus so much on stars, but it's really a lot of times it's the other people that dictate the series.
Ooh.
Kevin Love with 18 points off the bench. That was huge. Hadn't necessarily played outstanding since he got him out Miami, but this is why you bring in veterans for playoff moments. Trigger Trey Lyles, my guy, getting it done. I see you, Trey. He had a big second half. Like, I know it was about Malik Monk. I know it was about the Stars for Sacramento. They do not win this game without Trey Lyles. Again, 17 points off the bench. We've been talking about Josh Hart and how important he is to everything that the Knicks do. You want to know what else? The Cavs didn't have anybody off with double digits off their bench. You get 17 off your bench there. And then again, no Paul George, right? We know Kawhi is going to be elite. We understand what Russell Westbrook's going to bring to the game. 33 points, 4 assists, 4, 11, 3. Eric Gordon, Norman Powell. That's what they do. And then we saw the Lakers' young guys, right? 52 points, 9 rebounds. Rui off the bench, the numbers that we saw from him. You are not going to win a championship unless your others get involved. And that means everyone, the entire group, is not going to just be your stars in the postseason. You got to count on your stars for 2 wins. You got to count on others for 1. And you got to win a game that you're not necessarily supposed to. That's how you get it done over the course of a series.
Well, coming from a champion, that means a little bit extra because you've seen this recipe actually work. But I want to focus in a little bit more on the man that is behind you in our board screen there, because you mentioned Austin Reeves, right?
Yes.
You mentioned Rui Hachimura, obviously teammates of LeBron James. Sunday was the 30th time that a LeBron-led team won Game 1, Shanae, of a best-of-7 series. His teams have a 27-2 record in that situation. But after the game, LeBron, he basically said, Shanae, you know what? I knew from the very first practice I saw Austin Reeves out there. He had foresight that he wasn't just going to be a two-way guy. He would be a mainstay for this team. What did you see?
Ladies and gentlemen, this was huge because if you think about Austin Reeves, I saw Damian Lillard's tweet. He's like, my bad, bro, you are that guy.
Right.
What I loved about him was that he had one of the most efficient games we have seen. 2.17 points per chance. This guy was not only creating and making, 5 for 5 when it counted most, but he also created great looks, the most efficient looks in a fourth quarter. 80 in the second half was able to unleash himself because he was able to find the open man with the whole team on him.
Right.
Austin Reeves draws 2. And then look for this dime behind the back. Those 2 guys, Hachimura and Reeves, combined for 52 points.
Yep.
That's what wins you games, as Richard said. Also, you got to love what he did by himself. How rare is it that we see the king, LeBron James, off ball?
Right,
Just
facing
shooting.
the floor.
Normally, he's initiating this pick and roll. Instead, AR had it going. He draws 3. 80 was covered, hits the mid-range. One of the best performances statistically ever since second spectrum shot tracking was happening based on this guy in the fourth quarter. An efficient game, and he was like, we all saw it. I'm him.
I know. I love
I'm
it when
that
he's
guy.
running away and he's like, I'm him. I'm him. All right, Janae, let's get to the other side of this matchup, though, because Memphis Grizzlies fans right now, as we say hello to our senior insider, Adrian Wojnarowski, our senior writer, Zach Lowe, Memphis fans, Woj, they're holding their breath right now because we saw Ja Morant leave the game early with a right hand injury. What more can you tell us about Ja?
Yeah, so listen, first of all, let's start with this. Memphis is going to do everything they can to hold us close to the vest between now and Wednesday night. It's a competitive advantage in the playoffs to not let your opponent know who may or may not be playing. But I think certainly for Ja Morant, he talked about it yesterday, how much pain he was in leaving the game. It was a hand that already was wrapped and then re-injures it. Listen, the Grizzlies know that if he doesn't play Wednesday, they have Tyus Jones. They have as good of a backup point guard in the league, a player who certainly can run their offense well enough to be competitive in the postseason. They don't play again until Saturday in a game.